We will talk about crypto and stock markets today. Don't worry. But first, I will share the best professional advice I've gotten my whole life. It changed all my success, both when I had a real job and my success in business and my investing and trading now. It was given to me in less than 10 minutes. Now I will retell it to you. It was a priest who told me this many years ago in a telecom office, and I was tasked with what felt like an impossible project. It was a whole new use case for telecommunication. The scope, the timeline, it seemed unfair and just impossible. I said, "It's just not happening, guys." I had all the right reasons why it couldn't be done. The key account manager who had already sold it to the customer was to blame, in my opinion. Then our region head, it was the region head of America, brought in this priest. And I thought, just great. Yeah, exactly. That's the only thing that can save this. A fucking miracle. You do that, dude. I'm out. But then in 10 minutes, that priest gave me the best mental model I've ever heard, before or after. And I use it every day, still today, 2 decades later. He explained that all we humans have the same 3 defense mechanisms. Do you know what they are? If you have kids, you can see them playing out word by word. He painted this picture. Imagine that you're sitting in the kitchen and you have a 5-year-old boy with a football. Suddenly you hear a big crash from the living room. And you know that you had that Ming Dynasty porcelain vase standing there. And you call out from the kitchen, "What was that?" What will the kid say back? I didn't have kids at the time. I was always the youngest in those senior roles. But all the other ones there did. And they answered the same thing. What will you hear the kid shouting back from the other room? Nothing. The first defense mechanism is denial. It didn't happen. It's not happening. It won't happen. Now, you get up from the kitchen chair, you run into the living room, and of course, the Ming vase is laying there on the floor in 1,000 pieces. You see your kid standing there in the middle, holding the football. But you also see your dog Max sitting on the sofa. What will the kid say now? Exactly. It was Max. The second human defense mechanism is blame. It's someone else's fault. The third one is a little harder. It requires your kid to be a little older. Then they might say this: it was because the vase was placed too close to the edge. Otherwise, this would never have happened. That's the excuse. We adults have the exact same defense mechanisms. Denial. It's not happening. Blame. It's your fault or that person's fault, not mine. Excuse. It's not possible because. Only beyond those defense mechanisms lies responsibility. If you want to be successful at anything, you need to actively stop yourself from getting stuck on your defense mechanism and proceed straight to responsibility. Actually, you are responsible. Instead of explaining why it can't be done, answer what you need to do it. That priest changed my career and life. I would not have succeeded with all the things I did without him. While everyone else were denying that the change would even happen and focusing on who is to blame for the mess and telling all the good reasons why they can't do it, I was focusing on getting it done because I realized I'm responsible. If I'm looking at all the angry comments from X, they all sort into these 3 defense mechanisms. Denial. There is no point learning all this because there will be no more bear markets, institutions, or no structured process works. They're all scams. So I don't need to learn. That's probably the most common one. Blame. It was his fault for not saying clearer that the price would dump. The excuse. I don't have the time or the budget. Okay, dude, but you did have the time to sit up all night and gamble meme coins. And you did have the budget to lose 100k doing it. Responsibility is that there is a point learning because actually it's you who's in charge. I think I would not have listened to that priest at a time of strength. when we were literally conquering the world with our technology, and I felt very full of myself. It was at that brief moment of time when I was down, when I felt that I had been unfairly given an impossible task. There is this brief moment of time where it is possible to get through to people. These angry people on the internet, they will not listen when price is going up, up, up. And they're all geniuses already, because structured models are rather defensive. They're focused on capital preservation, stop loss, and manage uncertainty. Stop loss means taking small losses over and over again, failing again and again, instead of holding on to the hope that it will go up tomorrow. All models are very unattractive when you see it for the first time, and many people are hurting now. They feel furious when they're hearing what I'm saying, especially when at the back of their mind they feel I might be right. So comments are, people can also tell you to and stop your own blue because your method warned about something that was already happening. Or the very classy, CTO Larsson, you're one. I think my wife can testify on the first part. But the bottom line is that it's very unpopular what I'm doing. Now compare that to the guy who just gives people what they want to hear. I predict that Bitcoin will go to 250,000 by the end of the year because of M2 money supply, the end of the US government shutdown and the fiat collapse. See how great that feels? Okay, then I don't need to do anything. Crashes will never happen. And I'm gonna get rich. Feels great, right? I read an article a couple of years ago. A journalist had interviewed finance influencers. It was not crypto, but in traditional markets. And I was shocked. All of them literally said the same thing. They followed the ABB model. Always be bullish. Because that's what people want to hear. So that's what works on social media. So they had as a deliberate strategy to come online and say, this is the bottom guys, I'm bullish, now it's going up. Then everyone likes the video, views go up. They did it because it works. Of course, they're wrong half of the time, but it doesn't matter. It still works, because the next time those people will still want to believe it's going up. They think, okay, so he was wrong that time, but now it's going up. They don't take action to stop listening to that person. They don't. ABB works. Now I think you should think about if you have fallen into that trap. Are you sitting listening to someone who is actually deliberately doing the ABB model? So what I'm doing here is always swimming against the stream. And there are freaking sharks everywhere trying to eat you, the audience. A sea vixen, siren, trying to swallow you and drag you down deep into the ocean. It's only these brief moments of time where it's in their face that the ABB guys actually hurt them, where there were real consequences, that they might turn the head away from the ABB hopium dealers and decide to walk a completely different route. A more defensive, more structured route, focused on capital preservation. A more professional, a more responsible route. In 1 week, Bitcoin might have pumped halfway back here, and that moment is gone. Then the ABB guys will be back in full force, and people have forgotten. Then they adjusted to having less money, and they will seek out the next hopium hit. It's not so different from a real drug addiction, actually. I don't do drugs, but I imagine if you are, it's a lot easier to just do one more time than to clean yourself up and start going to the gym. So yeah, I do take exactly this time to say that I think you should take a proper course, get good tools, get a real community of people actually trying to help each other, if you haven't already. That's why I launched the discount now, because it's only this brief moment of time that a new generation of people might actually listen. In a few weeks, they'll be off again, ready to be eaten by the next shark. I know it's unpopular. I know people will hate it. I know people will rage comment. I do it anyway. I'm not here to be liked. I know by speaking truth, I can actually help people. And one day they will be happy they learn. One objection is that, oh, if you're so successful, why do you even do this? Try to be of use to people. Try to create value. It will come back to you in ways you couldn't possibly have imagined. I guarantee you, I've had a role in adding value to billions of people with the telecom we built. I've 500,000 people who subscribe to the YouTube channel. I must have done something good for them. That is my responsibility to you who are listening. So if you're feeling very angry hearing what I'm saying, my humble request is to at least think through, is it one of your defense mechanisms that is holding you back? And what you should actually do is to move beyond that and realize that you are responsible and take action accordingly. So before we move on to the charts, remember that priest from now on. Cut through the denial, the blame, the excuse. Move straight to responsibility. If you're feeling very angry watching this right now, take responsibility for your life and your results. You are in charge. That was 10 minutes. I hope it changes your life like it did for me. The Bitcoin chart. I felt yesterday that the probability of a relief bounce was pretty high. When everyone else is turning bearish, 4 weeks after Larsson line flipped blue, 6 weeks after the bear cap video. So over a month late, I felt we might bounce now instead. And I took a gamble entry on the thesis that the 90,800 would hold for a bounce. I posted this at 89,737. That was pretty close to the exact bottom. Price did bounce there, reached a high of 93,775, but today we have new weakness again. I will not hold this into a loss. Solana, very similar. I wrote in last Friday's TA report that Sol BTC is now near the next support at 141k sats, and it could become time to look for re-entries. That was last Friday. 141k sats is exactly here, and as you can see, it bounced exactly there on Monday. Now up a good amount from there. So I took a new position. Again, same thing. I'm not gonna hold it into a major loss. It's a gamble for a bounce only because it starts feeling overextended now that the general public seems to be catching up with the bearishness. And that's the point where it might pump instead. One reason for the weakness today, I think, is that stocks are actually starting looking concerning for the first time in a while. If this candle in the S&P 500 closes like this, the trend of consistently higher lows breaks. I would love a deeper dip in stocks. I've ended up with too much cash now, and it's been very difficult to find new entries lately. I would love to increase in AI stocks like Nvidia, but I don't want to do it here. The last clean entry in Nvidia was down here at 18 or 19. That's 10x ago, and possibly here at 50. Tesla, we have absolutely nailed analysis this year too on the channel. From the re-entry on Larsson line gold flip to the channel break to the re-entry on the trend line, all while Larsson line held gold. Right now it's hard to see new clean entries. MSTR strategy has been brutal. Minus 65% drop top to bottom, 50% drop from this rejection down to today's prices. The multiple to net asset value has dropped from almost 4 about a year ago to 1.04 a week ago, and right now 1.12. A massive breakdown in the stock, but of course if Bitcoin finds its footing, this could become interesting again. Just be aware of this trend because this can drop below 1. Then some people will say no, it can't, because if it drops below 1, Sailor can just sell the Bitcoin. Well, no, because if he does, the net asset value of those Bitcoin won't be what it is today by the time he's done selling. He would absolutely tank the entire market, both from the sell pressure of the actual selling and from the signal value. Most people are very kind and polite in the comments. Thank you for that. Either because they did listen, so they had a very good outcome as a result, or they say, I should have listened, please tell me what to do now. There's no mathematically best way to do it if you're late to an entry or late to an exit. So if you're in a tight spot here and you don't know if you should buy or sell, there is no simple answer, unfortunately. But what you can do is to focus on how you can improve for the next time instead. And also, avoid doing stupid stuff now. For example, don't open a new short on support 1 month too late to try to make it back. That's super risky. A relief pump from here is at least as likely as further dumping, even in a downtrend. And unfortunately, a lot of the angry people will do exactly that. They will flip bearish and short after the dump at support. Please don't be one of them. Don't take stupid risks. Instead, try to keep your head cool here. I'm doing my best to help. When you are renewing Pro now, you get the Larsson line caps. Blue is on right now. That's great. We have the chance for lower and better entries, and thereby the chance to make even more money in the end. When I'm talking about gamble entries here, I'm doing it with small money that doesn't matter to me, and I have no intention of holding it into a loss. I'm doing it mostly for fun and also to demonstrate to you that I'm definitely not shorting here at support. You have to get out of the emotional trap of thinking that one of these are bad and the other one is good. That's not correct. They're both great. This is not a Black Friday discount. It's a wrecked avoidance discount. Pay less for the tool, lose less in the market. Get Larsson Line Pro. And prepare for the turnaround, which will come guaranteed. Era Digitalis is here. It's not going anywhere. Digital money on the internet is useful. It's here to stay. The AI technology isn't a bubble, it's useful. While the stock and the coin valuations can swing widely. And that's a good thing. That enables us to make more money. Thank you, tack. CTO Larsson out.